You were reading something online, and halfway through, you realized you couldn't tell whether a person wrote it or a machine pretending to be one. Not because it was bad. Bad writing feels human. It has the wrong word in the wrong place. It wanders. It tries too hard. This didn't do any of that. This was clean, structured, confident. It covered the right points in the right order. It landed where it was supposed to land. And it could have been written by anyone, or anything, or no one in particular. That's the part that's hard to place. It wasn't wrong. It was optimized. And somehow, optimized started to feel like the opposite of real. You've been noticing this more, on more platforms, in more places. Not just AI content, everything. As if the optimization spread. As if something that was supposed to make writing better made it all start to sound the same. And the sameness is starting to feel like absence.
Here's what's actually happening. For a long time, the internet had a texture. Not always good texture. There was bad writing and good writing, uninformed opinions and careful ones, rambling posts and sharp ones. But underneath all of it, even the mediocre parts, you could feel somebody trying to say something real, even when they failed. That texture is changing. Not disappearing. Changing. More and more of what gets produced online is produced to perform well, not to mean something. To make people stop scrolling, to survive the feed, to check the right boxes. And the strange thing is, it works. The metrics are fine. The engagement is there. The content gets consumed. But something underneath it is getting quieter. The sense that someone actually had something to say. That this came from a specific person with a specific perspective who thought about it before it became words. That's what's disappearing. Not quality. Presence.
Before we begin, if you value quiet, thoughtful content like this, subscribing helps this channel grow and makes it possible to keep creating videos without noise or hype. Thank you for being here. Now, let's begin.
This is the part worth sitting with. Because the easy response is to blame the tools, to say AI did this, algorithms did this, platforms did this. And those things are part of it, but they're not the whole thing. Because the optimization didn't start with AI. It started when the metrics became visible. When every post showed you how many people engaged. When every article tracked how long people stayed. When the feedback loop became immediate and measurable. The tools just accelerated something that was already underway. And here's what's interesting. The people whose writing still feels like someone made it, they understand the system. They still see what performs. They just haven't let the system decide what matters to them. Something that happens before the writing starts. Before you think about who's going to read it. Before you think about how it's going to land. A moment where you still have something you actually want to say.
Think about the last time you wrote something that surprised you. Not because it was clever, because it said something you didn't know you thought until you wrote it. You started somewhere, and the writing took you somewhere else. Not where you planned, somewhere truer. That's a specific experience, and it only happens when the writing is still discovery, not delivery. When you don't know the destination before you start moving. Now think about how much of what gets written online starts from the opposite direction. The conclusion comes first. The structure comes first. The format comes first. And then the writing fills it in. It's efficient. It performs well. It does everything it's supposed to do. But it never surprises anyone, including the person who wrote it. Because nothing was discovered. Something was constructed. And readers can feel that difference, even when they can't name it. They feel it as the absence of a trail. No sense that someone walked through this before they arrived. Just the output. Like the thinking already happened somewhere else. And the writing just arrived afterwards.
Here's what changed at scale. For most of human history, the bottleneck was production. Writing something took time. Publishing it took resources. Reaching people took effort. So only certain things made it through. Not always the best things, but things that someone cared enough about to push all the way through that friction. That friction is gone now. Anyone can produce anything and reach everyone almost instantly at almost no cost. Which means the bottleneck shifted. It's no longer can you produce it? It's will anyone stop for it? And that question changed everything about how things get made. Because when survival depends on attention, when the only thing that matters is whether someone pauses in an endless moving stream, the pressure is always toward whatever stops the scroll, not whatever means something. And over time, that pressure shapes what gets made. Not through censorship, not through malice, just through selection. The things that perform get made again. The things that don't get adjusted until they do. And slowly, without anyone deciding it, the internet started to fill with things optimized for the pause, rather than for the thought that comes after it.
If this feels familiar so far, not as information, but as something you've been dealing with, we keep a growing collection of prompts, tools, and simple frameworks designed to help you think more clearly, start more easily, and work better in this environment. We add to it over time. Nothing overwhelming, just practical resources you can return to when you need them. If you want access, you will find it in the description. Now, let's continue.
Here's something you've probably noticed, but haven't thought too much about. There are still creators online whose work stops you differently. Not because it's better produced, not because it's more polished. Sometimes it's actually rougher, less consistent, harder to predict. But when you finish reading or watching, you feel like you were in a conversation with an actual person. Someone who was figuring something out as they went, who changed their mind halfway through and let you see it, who included the part that didn't quite fit because it was true. That's not a style. That's a byproduct of something. It's what happens when something means something to the person making it first, before they think about what it's going to do to the audience. And here's the thing. You can still do that. Not as a rebellion, not as a statement, not as anything dramatic. Just by starting from the question you actually have, instead of the answer that already performs. The internet changed. The incentives changed. The pressure changed. But the moment before you open a blank page, that moment is still yours. What you bring to it still decides what comes out.
When was the last time you made something that surprised you?
The internet didn't get worse. It got better at something that turned out to matter less than everyone thought. Better at reaching people. Better at holding attention. Better at giving everyone a voice. And somewhere in all of that, the question of what to do with the voice got quieter. Not silenced. Quieter. Because the louder question became, will anyone listen? And that question changes what you make, what you say, what you allow yourself to think out loud. Most people don't feel this as a choice.
They feel it as pressure, a constant low-level pressure to produce things that land, that function, that perform. And that pressure is real. But so is the moment before it arrives. The moment when you still have something you actually want to say, and haven't yet started thinking about whether it will work. That moment is still there. It just needs to happen first. And there's something underneath all of this worth going further into. Because it's not just about what you make. It's about what you become when everything you make is made for someone else first. That's where this goes next.
If you made it this far, it means this topic matters to you. In the next video, we continue building on this with clearer understanding, practical perspective, and ideas you can actually use. Following the channel really helps us keep developing content like this and adding more resources over time. The next video continues from here. You can watch it now.